Okay, welcome back to our second chat here on our Tassie Martial Arts Lockdown Chats. Today, very fortunate to have one of Tassie's true martial arts pioneers with us, in Adam Newton. How you going, Adam?
Yeah, good, mate. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. I'm glad you could join us, mate. We'll get started straight up. Maybe we'll start in the present and then we'll work backwards a little bit from there. You currently own and operate the Sorell Martial Arts Academy.
That's correct.
Yep. And you've had that full time since when, mate?
Look, when I started it, we were just, sort of 2 evenings a week in a church hall, probably about three and a half years ago.
Yep.
And it, Sorell's a little bit out of the city, I suppose. But look, it just grew and grew, and yeah, we took on a commercial lease probably 2.5 years ago, something like that.
Okay, cool. And did you end up building a place there in Sorell, or you found where your current location is and thought, nah, this looks like a great spot? How did that come about?
Look, there wasn't a lot of commercial spaces available. There's no sort of community halls or PCYCs anywhere down in the southeast like that. So we were really limited. I had a former student who is well connected in the community. His family goes back a long way. He runs a business in Sorell, and I just dropped in to ask him if and he runs a service station in Sorell. And I just asked him if there was anything he knew of that was available. And he showed me their storage shed, and the rest is history, really. So we jumped through all the hoops and, made sure we're all compliant with the council and did all those sorts of things. And so there we are. And we're actually in the process of extending that shed now, making it bigger, and which is pretty exciting.
Excellent. No, sounds good. And at your academy, you're offering quite a wide array of different things. Everything from your ninja gym for the little ones, all the way through to your adults doing several different things. What's I guess the main focus for you? You've got your BJJ and your judo and your Muay Thai and MMA, I guess. A bit of everything there, mate.
Yeah, I mean, look, I've been doing combat sports for over 40 years now. I started judo when I was 7, and I just love it all. I've been fanatical about all different ones at different stages in my life. My main love now would be BJJ. And I think that's, as the body's getting older, I can still get in and have a crack. I mean, for me, martial arts has always been about being able to really get in and sink your teeth into it. And, I'm lazy. I hate exercising, but I love training, So, the judo and the kickboxing, I still love it. But, I've got dodgy knees and arthritis in the neck and shoulders and things like that.
Old man stuff.
I can't really, sink my teeth into the others as much. Whereas I can still get in and have a good hard roll. So, for me, probably that could be one of the main reasons I think why jiu-jitsu is probably my first love at this point in time, and has been for quite some time now.
Yeah. Okay.
In reference to the ninja gym, yeah. So look, we started with 1 kids class a week, and that grew to 2, and then we split the ages. From all kids to 4 to 8 and 8+, and then we split it again, and we found that we had a lot of younger siblings that were just hanging around for that young class. So on the mat we'd have 4 to 8-year-olds, and we'd have a heap of 2 to 4-year-olds just hanging around, being bored, annoying their parents, being a pain in the bum. So I would let them jump on the mat and join in the warm-ups. And, they were pretty receptive to it. And And I had parents asking, we need to do something for these little kids, and the thought sort of terrified me. I was not remotely interested in teaching 2 to 4 year olds.
Yeah.
But we gave it a go. You know, the demand was there, and I absolutely love it. It's awesome. It's so much fun. Yeah, so look, we get big wins with them. You know, they're taking, you know, they're listening to adults other than mum and dad. You know, they're lining up, they're standing still and listening, and they're learning, you know, to emulate movements. So, you know, they're building their confidence and their coordination. And we were getting kids coming in that were sort of 8, 9, 10 years old, and they couldn't even run backwards. You know, whereas we've got 2 and 3 year olds now that can swing on monkey bars and climb on balance ropes, and you know, so, and the feedback we're getting is fantastic with it. So look, it's just so much fun. Yeah, I love doing it.
Yeah, no, that's an awesome program for sure, because yeah, there isn't a lot around for kids of that age, and to get them in there disciplined, coordinated and enjoying it's a huge kudos to yourself, mate.
Thanks.
Now let's have a little bit of a wind back of the clock. First martial arts you started was perhaps judo, was it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I started that when I was 7.
Yeah. And where was that? Who was that with?
That was over in South Australia. So I was, you know, angry little bogan with anger management issues, and got put into judo. That's probably a really good thing for me.
Yeah, nice. And from there, a love of martial arts extended to the kickboxing.
Yeah, so I did judo exclusively until I was probably 19, 20.
Wow.
You know, I obsessed over judo. Like for me, that was life. You know, I would. This is over in South Australia, so you know, every day after school, I'd take public transport, buses, and trains, and I trained sort of all over regional Adelaide. You know, sort of every opportunity I could, so 4 or 5 days a week.
Yeah, nice.
I got some good success with that. You know, won a lot of titles and things, and I actually made the young men's Australian team, went to compete overseas.
Excellent.
You know, I was working in a pretty shit job, sort of factory line, because my whole life was judo. I was never been particularly academic anyway. So yeah, come back, and I had to repay the loan that I had to get to go and compete. And it was a bit of a wake up call, and I thought, well, what am I doing this for? You know, I can't afford to really keep doing this. And so I kind of walked away from judo a bit. I dabbled in different martial arts. None of them really sort of didn't really grab me until I walked into a Muay Thai club. At a spar on my very first day, the instructor clinched up. I threw him on the floor because of the judo. And I apologised. It was just instinct. And he went, no, that's awesome. You do that as much as you want. And then he kicked the shit out of me. It was great. So I was hooked. I loved that. So I got into that next. And from there, got into the kickboxing and the boxing, and, you know, had a few fights and things like that. But yeah, so that's how I got into that.
Yeah, okay. And when was it that you came to Tassie?
I was in my early 20s. So I'm 48 now, so it's been a while now. But I'd come over for a holiday. Prior to that, I fell in love with the place. You know, I loved Tassie. Yeah, so chucked everything over there and moved over here.
Yeah, okay. Very good. And so you were teaching Muay Thai locally?
Yeah,
Yep.
Muay Thai kickboxing, yeah. At the time, I was doing it at the PCYCs, you know, Hobart PCYC and Bridgewater PCYC, bits and pieces here and there. Then one of the guys from the Hobart PCYC, so the Muay Thai club there, he got John Will down to do a seminar. John, you know, was the first black belt in Australia. And I think at the time he was like only a purple belt or something. We're going back quite a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so myself and a couple of others that are still around went along to that seminar, and I guess that's how it sort of started.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. The origins of BJJ in Tasmania.
Yep.
Yep. So there wouldn't be a lot of guys from that era still kicking about, mate, or there are still a few. I know Pete's still about down there.
Yeah, Pete's still there
at that time. Yeah.
Yeah, Pete was there. I think that may be about it for people that are still actively training. Jeremy Ducote, he came along and watched. He didn't participate, but he's still heavily involved. He's on the mainland now, running his own club. But
right,
you know, I think that on the map that it's probably only Pete and myself, but it could be others. A long time ago.
It is a long time ago. And so you were at the Bridgewater PCYC?
Yeah, mostly back then. Yep.
Yeah, mostly back then. And from what I understand, you were running your Muay Thai club, and then you sort of went to the half Muay Thai, and then the second half was BJJ or something like that. Is that sort of
we tried all sorts of stupid things. I mean, this is back before the internet was really a thing. You know, you couldn't buy MMA. It wasn't even called MMA back then. It was, you know, there was still, you know, your Vale Tudo and, you know, rules and, you know, and you couldn't. We were getting, you know, like thin little karate gloves and wicket keeping gloves and just modifying them so we could punch each other and still grab each other and just doing all sorts of stupid things, you know. So, yeah.
Yep. So obviously John Will was a pretty big influence in your early BJJ, and the Machados obviously through that lineage. Yep. And I understand that you were the first Tasmanian or first person in Tasmania to receive your blue belt, your purple belt, your brown belt, and then subsequently your black belt.
Yeah, for I guess, you know, for someone that started here and stayed here, you know, there were others, I suppose, that came down to Tasmania. There were, you know, and people that were started here and moved overseas, interstate and things like that, you know. So I guess.
Yeah, so you're pretty much the grandfather of Tassie BJJ,
mate. Thanks, making me feel old.
No, all good. So first BJJ competitions, late 90s, somewhere around there?
Yeah, it would have been, yeah. First few comps we ran, so I went over to you know, to compete in Melbourne. You know, got inspired and started running comps down here. You know, the first few comps, you know, we probably got a dozen people.
Yeah.
You know, that was
all sort of white belts, I'd imagine, would they?
Yeah, pretty much. All whites, and I think I got the blue, and then, you know, so it was pretty small beginnings. But yeah, fun times.
Absolutely. And when I spoke with Zach, he was saying that one of his boys competed in the first MMA competition down here. And it might have been against one of the guys that you were doing a bit of BJJ with at the time. He couldn't remember his name, but I think it was Jason or something, was it?
Yeah, Berkey. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so look, I was promoting the shows.
Yep.
Promoted some of the early, you know, wasn't the first. There had been some kickboxing shows prior to me running some, but there hadn't been any in quite some time. So a good mate of mine, a good training partner at the time, James Whitworth, he passed away now, unfortunately, but we got together and put on a few shows. And so, you know, all the Launceston crew, Zach Robinson and all those guys, you know, good times. Yeah, it was really good. Yeah. So we put a few shows, and further down the track, I think there's a couple of shows in. I can't remember if I promoted that one or not, but we ended up doing I don't even think it was called MMA back then. It was before MMA was really a term, I think. It was around that time anyway. And, you know, we sort of had some hybrid type rules where they keep going on the ground, and if they get tangled in the ropes, they get stood back up. And that was a bit of fun. No one had a clue what was going on, I think, but, you know.
Yeah. No, that's all good. Okay, so your judo. So you said you from about the age of 7 through to 19, you know, and fairly successful at that. You're still training in judo?
Look, I've stayed reasonably well connected. You know, I'm sort of I'm sort of coaching again. Really, you know, I love judo. All the martial arts that I've done, so whether it's the judo, kickboxing, bit of that, they've all had a massive impact on my life. Different times, different stages, different reasons. You know, they've all helped to steer me in the right direction.
Yeah. For sure.
And you know, I think I hate to think where I was without martial arts. Really, you know, I think you know, it's really had a massive impact. So, you know, if I can give back to all of them in some way, then, you know, it's pretty important to me.
Yeah.
Judo, you know, like I said, I can't really compete anymore. You know, I've had knee reconstruction, I've got arthritis on my neck and shoulder. You know, I can't fall. You know, it's just too much of a risk for me. So I still love it, and I still love coaching it, and it's the challenges that it presents. Yeah, that answers the question.
Yeah, no, for sure, mate. All right, let's look a little bit outside martial arts just for a brief period. And I'm not sure whether there is much going on outside of martial arts for you by the sound of it. You seem very busy. You're obviously, your wife's involved with the academy as well.
Oh, look, she's a great help. She doesn't really train. I've roped her into doing some videos just to keep things sort of ticking over. But she's a great help around the academy. You know, she helps out and welcomes people, and it really is an intrinsic part of the club, but not really participating in the training itself.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, and so what does Adam Newton do when he's not doing martial arts?
So at the moment, pre-pandemic or
yeah, just in general.
Oh, mate, I've got a lot of hobbies. I love the outdoors. I mean, that's what brought me to Tasmania. So anything to do with the bush, anything to do with outside, outdoors, you know, bushwalking, camping, spearfishing, windsurfing, you know, any of that sort of stuff. At the moment, I'm trying to do weights and running and things to try and get a bit fitter, and trying to do the weights to get a bit stronger, protect the body, and hopefully keep me rolling a few extra years, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I was actually going to ask about your thoughts on cross training and different things specific for helping out with your BJJ rolling, that sort of thing, because I've heard it said and by a few people that, you know, try not to use your strength, all this sort of things, but certainly if your technique's right, the strength can only help, I'd imagine. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, look, it's kind of I think it's a difficult question to answer simply. You know, I think when people are learning as white belts, it's really important they try and put aside the strength, because they're going to use it inappropriately. And you know, if you are strong, then that can mask a lot of inadequacies in your game. You know, so it's important, I think, for white belts in particular, to try and put the strength aside and try and focus on learning technique. But then, you know, it comes to a point where you see it. If people sort of go down that path, they'll get to blue belt, and that's what, you know, you'll watch blue belt matches, and they're generally the most exciting because there's the most exciting things happening. There's stuff happening. People are trying stuff and moving, and you know, they've learned how to flow and adapt and adjust, and they're not finishing things because they're not using that strength that may be required. You know, but you look at the other end of the spectrum, the best guys in the world, you know, Andre Galvao, Gordon Ryan, all these guys, they're jacked, they're huge. You can't say the strength doesn't matter. It certainly matters. It certainly helps. And, you know, using strength as long as you're using good technique and good leverage and all those other, that's that's what you want. Like if strength and size didn't matter, then there wouldn't be weight divisions. So
yeah, 100%. Yeah, okay, excellent. Okay, so your gym's currently affiliated with Tiago.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, have been for a number of years now, and that's a good pathway for your gym and your students, mate, having a Brazilian on board.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, Tiago's a legend. He's a great instructor, good coach, good friend. I can go over to his club. His club's in the middle of the Melbourne CBD, and he's made to feel so welcome. The club is just insane. There's just so many good people on the mat. It's just awesome. If I've got any questions, he's only a phone call away. Great help. I couldn't be happier.
Yep. No, that's excellent, mate. So now over the years, you've come across many characters, I would imagine, along the journey. A few of the notable guys that perhaps stick out, that might be still around or whatever, that you've formed close friendships with?
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't know where to start, mate. There's so many. There's been so many. Up your end of the woods, there's so many blokes up there that I know, have known for years. As soon as we set eyes on each other, you just get big stupid grins on our face. It's like, I don't know. Special friendships all over state and all over the country through martial arts.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of those guys that were around in those early days when we were running those first competitions, Paul Butler, Chris Stone, Brad Lowe, all those guys, Jim Reed is up in, on the mainland now. All those guys, they're just, a special connection that, it's a bit hard to explain, really.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, that's great. And what do you see for the future of martial arts and perhaps BJJ in particular? A lot of it was always done gi, and then no gi sort of seems to be coming in more and more, and it's more prevalent. Do you think it'll keep going that way a little more, or do you think there's always a place for it in the gi?
I think there'll always be a place for gi, jiu-jitsu. For me personally, I prefer rolling in a gi. I love both, don't get me wrong. But I'm old, and if I can grab people and slow them down, these young fellas, it's certainly beneficial to me. But look, I think, it's really diversifying. So the rule sets are really different. And, only a few years ago, all the best guys in no gi were just gi guys that took their gis off. Whereas now I think we're seeing a real separation, and people specialising. And they really are becoming sort of two different sports in a way. The rule sets are so different. The leg lock game is just evolving so rapidly, and that's going to keep evolving over the next couple of years. I've got absolutely no doubt. So, look, I think gi jiu-jitsu is here to stay, depending on how this pandemic thing goes, of course. But outside of that, I think gi jiu-jitsu just adds another element and a whole heap of different challenges. And look, at the end of the day, I just love both. I love gi. I love no gi.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Look, I'm certainly the same opinion. I love the gi myself. I think that's probably a throwback from doing karate, perhaps. The gi's just special. But
that's right.
Yeah, I guess the same with judo. And the state of martial arts in Tasmania at the moment. What are your thoughts on that?
Pre-pandemic, look, fantastic. I think you know, we got so many people doing such good things. You know, we're a small state, you know, but we've always punched well above our weight. And you know, we've got some absolute beasts in MMA, you know, coming out of the state. In every sport, in every sort of aspect of all the, you know, we're punching well above our weight. I think we're in a pretty good place. You know, the Legion guys and Shaw putting on promotions again, you know, filling that void. You know, we've got Tasman Robin series for the BJJ comps. You know, there's just, you know, and generally, nearly everyone's working together really, really well.
Yeah.
You know, and there's none of the, very little of the bullshit that can come into it, the politics that can come into it. You know, I think overall, I think we're in a pretty healthy place, apart from the pandemic thing, of course.
Apart from the pandemic, yeah. So just I guess on that, you've been putting out a little bit of video content, I see. Yep, which is awesome. I think everyone's sort of trying to do a little bit of that type of thing and keep everyone interested and keep our martial arts at front of mind. Can you see yourself doing a fair bit more of that, or are you just sort of doing it and waiting and see when we can open our clubs again?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, it's all wait and see at the moment. Yeah, look, I am doing some videos. It's not something that I'm particularly comfortable doing.
Yeah.
It's getting a little bit easier now. I've done a few, but it's something I've always avoided in the past. Yeah, look, we at the moment for our club, we're pushing pretty hard. We've had the balls in motion for probably 18 months now to get the gym extended. We're going to have a strength and conditioning area in there, and we've sort of been jumped through different hoops with planners and councils and all that sort of stuff. And my landlord's sort of really trying to push that through at the moment, so we can hopefully get that done whilst everything shut down, because that's going to, you know, that was always going to be difficult getting that extension done and still trying to run the club at the same time. So whilst we shut down, now's a good time. So that's involving a bit of time at the moment. But yeah, no videos. I guess, you know, that's pretty much all we're going to be doing.
Yeah.
At the moment.
Yeah. So, what sort of time frame for the extensions and that? Do you know at all, or is it just a bit of a let's just do it and see how long it takes?
Yeah. No. As soon as you're dealing with different tradesmen and councils, you know, I mean, Sorell Council, you send something through and they send it to 25 different departments and then lose it, you know, and then you send it through again. You know, you're bashing your head against the wall trying to do anything. If you try and do it properly, it's ridiculously difficult.
Yeah. It's certainly the same up this end of the state, mate. Don't worry.
Yeah, I think local government's the same across the board, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Right, well, awesome, mate. Was there anything else that you wanted to promote or get out there while we're in this sort of environment that you know, that you want to say to the masses?
Yeah, no, not really, mate. Yeah, look, just if you're still listening and you're this far in, thanks for that. Keep training, you know, keep doing what you're doing. You know, try and support your clubs during this time. If you want us here, once this is all over, you know, please support your clubs.
Yeah,
that's the most important message.
Yeah, no, it's a great message. Yeah, absolutely, and that's sort of, you know, one of the reasons why we're having a chat with a few different people, just so we can, you know, get the word out there as much as we can. Everyone can do their bit, and hopefully we come back bigger and stronger, and it's all good at the end of it, mate.
That's it. Yep.
Okay. Well, we'll wrap it up there, Adam. I really do appreciate you spending some time with us today, and hope you stay safe and well. I'll be looking forward to seeing those extensions at your academy, and all the best, mate.
Good. Thanks very much.
Thanks,
Thanks,
mate. Catch you later.
See ya.